The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 is finally getting the camera upgrade that we've all been waiting for, on top of many other upgrades. Now let me know in the comments who's been waiting for upgraded cameras, and don't forget to hit subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech. So first up, before we get into the camera details, we're also getting a new form factor with the Z Fold 6, and it's something that I'm very excited about. A new patent has been filed showing a new foldable device that's slimmer than its predecessor, but it's also much wider and sporting a display width similar to the Pixel Fold. The problem with the Fold 5 for me was the very thin cover display, so something like this would literally be the perfect fold for me. And not only does it mean that the phone is easier to use in the folded mode, but it also makes for a more comfortable experience when unfolded, and it also makes room for a bigger battery and a better camera system. And I've created these renders here based on the new patent to give you guys a good look at what we can expect from the new Z Fold 6. Now when it comes to battery, we're of course hoping for a larger capacity given the increase in size. We've already had the Z Fold 6 battery approved by the Korean regulator agency, and this also confirms that the battery is going to be inside a pouch with a pull tab, and this makes it a lot easier to replace if required. Now unfortunately, the listing doesn't confirm the battery capacity, and this is the primary battery, but there will of course be a secondary battery to further increase the capacity. Now, as well as being thinner and wider, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 is also coming with Samsung's new patented Iron Flex technology. It's thought that this trademark relates to the new folding display, and it's going to be more durable than the previous versions, as well as being more resistant to scratching. Now, another advantage is going to be reduced creasing in the center of the display, and while we've got many reports and rumors floating around about no crease at all, that's very unlikely to happen just yet. Reduced creasing is always welcome though, and the Fold 5 already did a pretty good job there, so I'm excited for the new display on the Z Fold 6. Next up, we've got news that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 is finally getting the camera upgrades that we've all been waiting for, and according to a new tweet from Revegnus on Twitter, Samsung are going to be using the same camera system as the S24 Ultra, so this includes the 200 megapixel primary camera, and I guess most of us are wondering why this hasn't happened already, and I can only assume it's down to internal space and cost. Now strangely enough though, he also says it's instead of decreasing the battery capacity, but there's never been any information that stated that this was happening, and as we know, if anything, it's going to get larger. At this moment in time, I'm a little skeptical on the information from Revegnus, but if it is true, then more sources should back this up in the coming weeks, so take this one with a grain of salt for now until we get some more solid confirmations. Now overall though, it looks like we're getting some major changes in the Z Fold 6, which is refreshing for a device that's remained so similar over the past few years. And looking at the S releases, we can also assume that the new Fold is going to have a titanium frame, and we can also expect an increase in display brightness after Samsung pushed the S phones to an impressive 2600 nits. Now for those of you excited for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 though, we're now going to run through the full specs, design, and the expected pricing to help you guys decide if it is worth the wait. For my regular viewers, you guys have seen this, so just skip to the next video, but if you're new here, then hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, we get a 7.6-inch foldable 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. While it's the same size as its predecessor, we're expecting improvements in brightness, color accuracy, as well as durability. It's coming with a resolution of 1812 by 2176, and it's going to be protected by Samsung's newest ultra-thin glass. Now there's also going to be less visible creasing in the center of the new foldable display, as well as water and dust resistance. For the external display, we get a 120Hz dynamic AMOLED protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 3. It's going to be a 6.2-inch display, and while the current resolution is unknown at the moment, Samsung are reportedly working on a much wider aspect ratio, and we're also going to see improvements to the brightness and color accuracy, and it will of course have a punch-hole camera in the top center. Now the selfie cameras are going to be a 10 megapixel wide-angle camera on the cover display, followed by a 4 megapixel under-display camera on the internal display. Then over on the rear, it's a 50 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and then a 10 megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom. Now it's actually the same camera system used in the predecessor, but hopefully we will still see some improvements thanks to the software. It's going to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 globally, and we get 12GB of RAM with up to 1TB of storage, and this will of course be UFS 4.1. It's coming with a 4400 mAh battery, and while fast charging is still currently unknown, we're hoping for improvements to both wired as well as wireless charging. In terms of connectivity, we get advanced 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7, and then we also get ultra-wideband support, and it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from $1,850 in August 2024. So the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 is beginning to look like the Fold that we've all been waiting for, with a new form factor on top of all the other upgrades like a better display, a better chipset and a better camera system. This should be an incredible folding device. Given that the Fold series has remained the same for such a long time now, it's refreshing to see such a drastic change to the lineup, and given all of the differences, it could even make people with the Fold 5 want to upgrade. Now, of course, the official launch isn't until August 2023, but in the coming months we'll no doubt receive more and more leaks, and I'll be sharing them as soon as they come in, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.